Our last speaker presentation is by architect Maria Sajid Zahir and architect Hira Uwais. Maria is an architect and an urban planner with a focus primarily on urban design and landscape architecture. Maria has garnered extensive experience in these fields throughout her career, currently serving as a lecturer in the Department of Architecture and Planning at Dawood University of Engineering and Technology in Karachi. Maria is dedicated to nurturing the next generation of architects and planners. Hira is an architect and conservationist who currently works as an assistant professor at Dawood University of Engineering and Technology. She obtained her bachelor's degree in architecture from NET University of Engineering and Technology. Later, she worked on conservation projects in Later, she worked on conservation projects in Heritage Cell as an assistant and project architect. In 2013, she pursued a master's degree in architecture from University of Engineering and Technology in Lahore. Hira has been accepted into the PhD program for cultural heritage at the University of Torino, Italy. We would like to call architect Maria Sajid Zahir and Hira Uwais on the stage for the presentation.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening to our esteemed audience. I'm architect Maria Sajid Zahir and I have with me architect Hira Uwais from Dawood University. We have together teamed up for presenting to you a thought-provoking subject. We are thankful to the IPIX Conference Committee for giving us this opportunity to present before you. The research that we are going to present today is an ongoing project and revolves around the very notion of space making and place making. Our primary inquiry is aimed at unraveling how people and communities, policies, and historic events together influence a space such that it continues to evolve over the time. In doing so, we are primarily focusing on the old town of Karachi with its twin neighborhoods Kharadar and Meethadar, as it is this part of Karachi from where the city started growing. This particular place continues to be very dynamic as it has seen many transformations over the course of years. This place has religious spaces as old as 300 years old, and interestingly, they still stand today.
While the study is multi-layered, we try to lay our emphasis on the historic events and planning attempts for the city impacting the area. The urban characteristics such as morphology, street patterns, unique urban characteristics, the local vocabulary, and stories hidden in the change of names from Hindu or English to Muslim names. However, the last part of our inquiries focused on the architectural attributes of buildings in the area, trying to focus on the architectural styles apparent from the facades and the meaning hidden in the signs and symbolic features.
This research employs a qualitative approach to investigate the complexities of memory, collective identity, and urban space within Old Town Karachi, using ethnographic techniques such as participant observation, interviews, and archival research, providing rich and contextualized setting for examining the interplay between memory, space, and community. Other than this, crowdsourcing data from social media platforms is also adopted as a novel approach to carry out the study. Semi-structured interviews from long-term residents, community activists, shopkeepers, and street vendors were conducted to add their narratives, memories, and perceptions of the neighborhood.
Let us now take you to the visual journey of our glimpses from the study area and to discuss our findings with you. Please play the video.
Memory can be marked anywhere in a city. It may be encoded on buildings or commemorative plaques, buried in language and dialect. woven through the visual and literary cultures of a city or personified by religion. Karachi, a sprawling metropolis on the shores of the Arabian Sea, stands as a testament to the enduring interplay between memory, identity, and urban space. Its rich tapestry of political, economic, and cultural transformations has sculpted a landscape where history and modernity converge, creating a vibrant mosaic of narratives and experiences. As one of the South Asia's largest and most diverse cities, Karachi bears witness to the ebb and flow of migration, trade, and cultural exchange, each wave leaving its indelible mark on the cityscape. The research is based in two main areas, Kharadar and Meethadar in the Old City. Situated within Karachi's labyrinthine streets, Old Town emerges as a microcosm of the city's historical trajectory, embodying centuries of collective memory and cultural heritage. Amidst its narrow alleys and bustling markets, Old Town encapsulates the essence of Karachi's past, present, and future, serving as a crucible where diverse communities intersect and coalesce. This research seeks to delve into the intricacies of memory and collective identity within Old Town Karachi. We aim to unravel the layers of meaning embedded within the urban fabric. Study is divided into four parts. The city of Karachi emerged from a fisherman village to a port and trading center by the Sindhi and Balochi merchants who built the fortified city of Karachi. The fortifications had two gates, namely Kharadar, the brackish gate, and Meethadar, the sweet gate. In the Persian records of the Talpur administration, they are mentioned as the Shor and Shireen Darwazas. By the end of the 18th century, the then Karachi had fallen in the hands of the Balochi tribes of the Khan of Kalat and the Sindhi Talpurs and Mirs. These indigenous feudal lords developed its trading and defense potential and constructed the Manora fort. The news of thriving trade attracted the British, who were then ruling the subcontinent, and thus Karachi was occupied in 1838. The British developed Karachi into a trading center, defense port, and an administrative center. As Karachi's port economy flourished, most of this growth was absorbed by the inner city area, which accommodated offices, retail outlets, and warehouses for both indigenous and European traders and merchants, attracting laborers from the rural hinterlands in Sindh. Consequently, the area became overcrowded and the land values rose dramatically in the city center. Due to the opaqueness of this native part of the city and outbreak of plagues, the British brought town planning interventions in the form of removal to realignment with the addition of infrastructure, dispensaries, and schools. The narrow, crooked streets, as attributed to the Indian towns by Mirans, unlike well laid out broad roads, distinguish the native towns from that of British cantonment. This native part of the city, besides being dense, is also described as multi-ethnic in the accounts of Lokram Dodeja and Seth Naumal Hochan, highlighting that the businessmen shared the same space of the quarter with the lower caste Chappars and Sehtas. The demographic composition of the area pre-partition was such that there existed mohallas or neighborhoods of Muslims and Hindus in the old city, with Hindu population in majority in the old town. Post-independence, Karachi, being the administrative and economic capital of the newly founded state of Pakistan, brought in refugee influx, resulting in squatter settlements in Old Town area. Most of the functions were within walking distances, and Karachi became a high-density, compact city, allowing interactions between intellectuals, politicians, students, diplomats, businessmen, and the working classes in a common shared space. Industrialization further brought in more migrants to serve the port and fishing industry, while the establishment of a transport terminal brought in transport-related infrastructure, wholesaling, and storage facilities, leading to replacement of multicultural rich by the middle class. With Islamization in 1976 came major changes in land use of Sadr, such as the bars, cinemas, and bookshops converted into markets and shops. In terms of socio-political life in the Old Town during colonial times, panchayats of residents were formed to negotiate with the municipality. Later, the Jamaats emerged as a reconstitution of local panchayats into civic associations among the merchant classes. Maimans come from a lineage of Muslim trader bankers who attained power and political influence in India during the late 18th century. After independence, these new migrants formed the association on the similar traditional model that existed in Mumbai and Gujarat. The most important of these are Kuthiana, Bantwa, Veraval, Doraji, Wadla, Vanthali, and Ajak, while some are recognizing themselves as Sayyids. The Sayyids are the custodians and Gaddi Nasheens of the Sufi shrines that proliferate in the quarter. The
street patterns in the Old Town area are narrow, haphazard, and disorderly, unlike the gridiron pattern symbolic of colonial planning. As pointed out in the earlier records of A.F. Bella says, from the times of 1853 till 59, that the existing habitation in the Old Town lacked order or classification. The registration of property was introduced to determine the precise location of land and identity of owners to avoid the good houses getting mixed up with the huts, the native population with the European, and the poor with the rich. The lived space of Karachi, as found by the British, consisted mainly of the walled city containing both the residential and the commercial establishments. Early British administrators saw the walled city area as an unsatisfactory urban arrangement on several levels. It was considered too congested, obstructing the free circulation of air, even though there were wind towers channeling the south-blowing wind into the adobe houses. Also, there was no concept of footpaths in the streets of native towns, as they were not acquainted with them, unlike the British, and can be seen even today. To date, the area is known for serving multiple functions in dense historic character. The land use study of the area suggests that most of the buildings in the area house commercial activities on the ground floor, whereas the upper levels are residential. The uniqueness of the area also lies in the multifunctionality of space use. Apartment blocks, bazaars, markets, shrines, mosques, community halls, hospitals, and schools are packed together. People belonging to distinct communal identities and religious denominations inhabit the old city with their community and religious spaces clearly defined. However, the significant urban elements also range from sabils and alams to donation boxes at street level, besides historic buildings showing signs of the presence of diverse communities that inhabited the area. The pictorial documentation shows images of Hindu buildings having the name written both in Sanskrit and English, while most of the buildings also show Gujarati scriptures in the plaques, giving an idea of the ethnic or religious affiliation of the owner. Other interesting elements such as the existence of PCO, public call office, and internet cafes appear unique in the current times. Considering the historical changes that the area has witnessed in terms of communities that inhabited the area, the functions that changed over the years due to planning regimes and political influence, there is diversity in terms of the local street names and landmark names, evidencing that the area was once a fisherman village. The places such as Nakhuda Masjid, Machi Miani, and presence of fishermen graves and Maiman Masjid stand as a testament, where Nakhuda means in charge or captain of fishing boat or boat captain, while Machi Miani means the central location of the market for fish trading. The trace of Hindu and Muslim merchants who came here and settled in the area can also be found in the presence of Imam Bargahs, mosques, shrines, and temples that existed pre-independence, most of which are about 300 years old. Influence of British takeover in Karachi can be seen in the names of famous roads of Old Town such as Harris Road, Newnham Road, and Young Husband Road. However, post-independence there was a trend to convert the English or Hindu names on Muslim names who were then in majority. An example of this is the change of name of Karsandas Moolji Jetha Cloth Market Building to Kochanwala Cloth Market or Govardhan Das Market to Latif Market. The change of names of the buildings were based on the former and latter owner of the building. The change of names of roads and streets post-independence had much to do with the emergence of new sovereignties and to decolonize and localize the name of places. Newnham Road to Fakhre Matri Road, Harris Road to Aga Khan Road, Embankment Road to Nawab Muhabbat Khan Road are a few examples. The fourth part of the research is about architectural features in the area. The buildings present in the Old Town demonstrate the following styles. The classical Indian and European hybrid. An example is the Tower Mansion on Machi Miani Market Road, where most of the building elements are classical Indian, while semicircular arches and double columns pay tribute to the Roman style of architecture. The British legacy. An example is the Kochanwala Cloth Market on Newnham Road, such that acroterians, Corinthian columns, semicircular arches with embossed stone, pediment, roundels, balconies supported on brackets are a reminiscence of British old mansion vocabulary. The communal living. An example of this is one of the residential buildings made with limestone, dominantly native in character with some elements adopted from the British style. Hindu or Gujarati plaques, balconies with Om symbol, and timber work on windows exhibit the Indian style. Adobe construction. While there are many stone marvels in the Old Town, there are a very few examples of Adobe structures. An example is the Lalan building in Meethadar, where half of the structure is built in stone, while the damaged upper story reveals the timber lacing, matting, and layers of mud. Today, there are encroachments of all sorts in the area, with the housing demand by the worker class serving in the commercial markets in the area, leading to addition of stories above the existing buildings, besides market activities spilling out on the streets. However, with the real estate pressure also comes a threat to old developments, as there is a greater tendency among the builders to pull down a historic building and replace it with a higher apartment building to house more and more apartments within the same place. The increasing density in the area is exerting a great pressure on the existing infrastructure. Also, this rapid transformation is nothing but a threat to the historic character of the area. The stories of placemaking in the area is more about power, politics, and sovereignty, with the greater hold of Jamaats. These Jamaats are not only involved in the management of commercial activities, but are also responsible for maintaining religious spaces, shrines, schools, and hospitals, besides indulging in the provision of drinking water and free food to the needy ones. In short, the associations dictate the social life and the day-to-day affairs in the area. Besides all these factors, the socio-cultural life in the area is very active, especially on the eve of special holy months, for example Muharram, Rabiul Awwal, Ramadan, and Eid. Other than this, the area has also gained popularity due to the gastronomical activities.
Thank you everybody for listening patiently, and sorry for this speedy kind of display that we just saw. But of course, there were stories from the research that we are, currently associated with. There'll be more added to this research at the later stages. Okay, so now we conclude the presentation. And before we finally conclude and step down, I would like to thank the efforts of our team members, most of which were our students who played an active part in data collection from the site during the process of this research. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Maria and Hira, for your presentation.